1. I used to work at a books and knickknacks kind of place. Unfortunately, my work closed a couple of months ago. And oh boy, was that a huge disaster. Every random person came out of the woodwork to give us a hard time on how dare you close. As if it was us workers who decided this and not corporate. Anyways, with a closing sale, everything that's not nailed down is for sale. Shelving units, bulletin boards, extension cords, literally anything and everything. Apart from the workers. If you didn't see a price on an item, people usually would bring up whatever object it was and ask us. We had a liquidation company price common items, and whatever they didn't price, my store manager was in charge of pricing. Backstory. We were about 2/3 of the way through the closing sale and had condensed a few products and sections down. Every couple hours we had to rearrange to make things better presentable, but it was hectic to stay on top of it. One of the knickknacks we sold were small rocks. You don't just have rocks on a shelf, so naturally they were kept in a bowl. I had just checked out a customer who bought a few of them, but I hadn't realized they were the last of them. Bowl Guy Act 1. Bowl Guy brought up this bowl that had held the rocks, which was now empty. There was a sign in it that said Rocks $2.99. My coworker E realized he wanted to buy it and called my manager to the front so that he could price it. She took the rock sign out of the bowl and threw it away. After no response from my manager, I went to the back room to see if he had heard, and realized he was occupied in the bathroom. I went back to coworker E to say the manager was a little busy at the moment but would be up momentarily. Cue Bowl Guy freaking out. He demanded the bowl for $2.99 because otherwise it was false advertisement, and we didn't need the manager. We didn't realize what he was talking about, and he demanded coworker E bring the sign out of the trash. She did, and showed him it was Rocks $2.99. Still pissed, he was now demanding the manager. I told him again that the manager was busy. He started yelling about why couldn't the manager take 2 seconds to come prove him right because he was a paying customer. I got annoyed and told him the manager was in the bathroom, but would be out very shortly now. Bowl Guy peeked and said,
"Fuck you, I'll be back and I better get it for cheaper. Your manager is not going to be happy with you."
With that explosion, the guy stormed out. Not even 30 seconds later, my manager showed up. After telling him the ordeal, he said he probably would have just given the bowl to the guy. Manager was so done with the sale and people's attitudes that he just didn't care anymore. But now he wouldn't sell the bowl to the guy at all. He asked if any of my coworkers wanted the bowl or the identical one that was still in use if we wanted them for free. Coworker E did, so we stuck some sold signs on the bowl and the identical bowl. By the way, from the moment Bowl Guy came up to the time he left was maybe 5 minutes. It's not like the manager was purposely dragging his feet. He needed to go, give him a break. Bowl Guy Act 2. Bowl Guy came back 2 days later. He walked around the entire store looking for the bowls, obviously blind to the identical bowl that was still in use, with the sold sticker on it. He purposely went to a different coworker B. When he came to check the stand, he yelled at her.
"You sold my item! You were supposed to hold it for me and I can't find it anywhere! I told you I was coming back for it today!"
He didn't.
"Where is it? I better get it for free this time after all this nonsense."
My original coworker E from his first visit, stepped forward and told him she didn't know what happened to the bowl. Bowl Guy was once again pissed. This time, the manager was out of town, leaving assistant manager in charge, who happened to be on a break at the time, which actually meant coworker E and I were in charge because we were both floor managers, which we were about to explain. He belittled us by saying,
"Shouldn't all 3 of you be in high school? Let me talk to an adult."
We are adults. None of us are in high school.
"Bet you wish you still were, though, 'cause you sure look like that's where you belong."
I've been married to my husband for a couple of years now, and we have kids. If I were in high school, I'd be years away from all that. I wouldn't trade. She's late 20s and looks nothing like a high schooler. Yeah, I just got my double bachelor's degree, and I'd hate to have to work towards that again. I'm mid-20s. I do look young, and I hate it. I'm 2 years into my college degree, and I'm getting married next month. I'd hate to give up my fiancée for high school. She's early 20s and looks it. Very defeated, Bowl Guy tried to make up for his mistake.
"Oh, well, it's a compliment. You all look so young. Let me know if that bowl turns up."
And he left. He never came back. 2. I was shopping at a store that rhymes with strafse this weekend on the way home from a really awesome date night with my fiancé. So I was dressed pretty nicely, black jacket, black skirt and heels. Fiancé and I usually go our separate ways in the store to achieve the best efficiency of finishing our list as fast as possible. So I was alone when this interaction started. An older Karen, probably around 60, was putting around the soup aisle and hemming and hawing at the sale, 10 for $10. And I guess she saw me with my cart putting something back on the shelf. She cleared her throat a few times and stomped around, but obviously I was just minding my own business.
Hey, lady.
Deciding between Safe Stray brand mac and cheese or Kraft.
Hey, you, manager. Excuse me. Hey.
I finally acknowledge her. Oh, me? I'm not a manager. Did you need help or something?
Well, obviously you're the manager. Why else would you be dressed like that? Which of these soups count for the 10 for $10?
I'm not a manager. I don't work here. And I don't know. Probably the ones that are directly labeled in the sign that says 10 for $10.
What the hell is your problem?
You're the one yelling at me. Karen stomped over, wagging her finger at me like I was a child, yelling at me about customer service, how I should do my job and help her choose her soups, and all that's wrong with the youth today. Something also along the lines of me getting fired for incompetence. I don't know, I zoned out. Ma'am, if you need help, please go up to one of the cashiers that work here and ask them. I'm here buying food like you.
Stop lying. Do you think I'm stupid? You're a fucking manager here. You're wearing the costume. You think you can just...
Okay, listen, Then Karen smacks my hand, making me drop the box of mac and cheese I was holding.
Don't fucking interrupt me.
What the hell, lady? You just hit me.
Yeah, I did. You interrupted me.
Seriously, what the hell? At this point, my fiancé heard my yelling and zoomed over. He was also dressed nicely, button-up, black slacks, the works. What's happening? Babe, are you alright? She just slapped my hand because she's too thick to hear me say when I don't work here. What?
You need to fire this bitch. She won't do her job.
Do you really think everyone dressed remotely nice is a manager? Crickets can be heard in the distance.
Well, I know she is. She was putting back that jar earlier.
Because I didn't want to buy it, you dumbass!
You can't talk to me that way.
Babe, grab an actual manager. I want to call the cops on this crazy bitch.
I'm a paying customer.
So are we. This is getting long, so the rest of it went like this. She stepped back in shock that we both yelled at her, and fiancé waved over some poor unsuspecting person. The actual manager got there, and the lady started her BS again about how both me and my fiancé should get fired, how we suck, etc., etc., blah. She proudly admitted to hitting me, by the way, which was hilarious. The manager looked at us and back at her and told her to apologize for hitting me and that she should leave. She again mentioned my manager costume and how it's my fault. The manager, in his actual manager outfit, pointed at his badge and name tag, his specific all-black outfit, and tried to explain to her that all managers are dressed like he was. That we were definitely not managers just because we looked nice. And she's assaulting another customer.
But she deserved it for talking back to me.
The manager had this "I want to run over you with a car" look on his face, and he slowly spoke to her like she was 3, again explaining that we didn't work here. I piped up, asking the manager politely to inform the woman that if she didn't apologize, I would like him to call the police and file for assault. The manager repeated this to the lady slowly, and the lady screeched and threw a can on the ground, swiped her arm through a bunch of the soups, causing them to avalanche to the ground, and briskly waddled out of the store. We helped the manager pick up the soups, and even though he kept saying sorry and that we didn't have to help him, and he asked if I really wanted to press charges, I said no, there's no point, I just thought it would make her go away. But if he wanted to make a police report, I would be happy to provide my statement. We laughed about my manager costume, and I got a $30 gift card for use on our groceries. 3. This just happened a few days ago. Compared to other stories, even my own, it's not that bad, but it's still pretty frustrating, since it shows the absurd standards people hold their expectations regarding customer service. I work as a mobile representative selling prepay, think track phone, total wireless, etc., and postpay, contracts with most major carriers, in a big box store type location. I am not an employee of the store I work in. My employer has just been contracted out by the store to do these types of sales, so unlike the people who work around me in the department I'm stationed at, it is quite literally my job to know about phones. However, most people assume I am part of the store proper despite the fact that my uniform is completely different to other employees, and that my actual company's logo is displayed clearly on my identification card I wear at all times. This is not that important for this story in particular, but it does show that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to what I do. I had just started my shift when I had an older woman come up to my desk like she was in a rush. She starts saying how she's with X Carrier on a contract, but through an X Carrier branded store, not the big box. She noticed that we have a better deal on a popular last-gen phone. It's truly a ludicrously low price for the quality of the phone, and that she wants to set up another line for it. Because she is not an X Carrier contract with the big box store I work out of, I cannot touch their account. And they cannot touch ours, they are completely different, which is why we give better deals on phones. And to get the phone through the deal with us, she would have to have her entire account transferred over to us before doing anything. And in order to do even that, all of the phones she has on the account, upwards of 4, have to be completely paid off. I had actually just dealt with a similar case a few days prior, and that was the same procedure we had to go through. At this, she huffs and says she was in this store about 6 months ago. I have only been working there about 2 at this point, and that the person she talked to then said something different. Did not tell me what the person had said different, just that it was different. From my coworker, I know that 6 months ago the newly promoted boss of our location was so bad at her job that she would just lie to get sales. So I ask her if it was one of our employees or one of the stores. She says ours and gives a description that sounds similar to how my coworker depicted the old boss. I tell her that either the employee she spoke with gave her the incorrect information, or that in the 6 months since the last quote the policy had changed, which, while unlikely in this scenario, has actually happened in the past, and that the only way to proceed would be in the way previously described. The woman starts muttering quietly under her breath, says, "Okay," mutters more, then turns to leave. I tell her to have a good day, and she comes back and starts an almost gentle tirade about how she was disappointed in my customer service, and that she was going to a different location of the store, not all of which have my company operating in them, because I told her different from what she expected. When I ask for an explanation, she says, "You didn't look anything up," pointing at my terminal where I make contract sales. "You should have at least offered to look it up." Again, similar situation I had mere days ago. The only difference was that case only had 1 phone, whereas she had 4. So I guess knowing protocol by heart and informing customers of them is bad service, if you don't look them up. To clarify the protocol I was referring to, if a customer comes in saying that they are on a contract with provider X, and that they want to make a change to their account, new phone line, upgrade, etc., through my company, but their contract is not with my company's brand of provider X, say it's through a retail branded store of provider X or the like, then myself and everyone else at my company cannot touch that account at all, not even in a "you aren't with us so we will not do it" way, in a "if you look up your account through our systems it will deny me access to making any changes because I am not authorized to do so" way. The reason is because plans my company sets up for provider X and the plans the offshoot retail locations of provider X has are 2 completely different plans, which is why the prices are often different. Therefore, the only way that they can have my company do anything with their account is to change what type of plan it is. Note, the customer won't see any difference in the payments or bills on the phones they already have on their accounts, and transfer it over to us so we can set up the new whatever. This is why, to even do the transfer, all phones on the account must be paid off, so that there is only the service charge to worry about, not monthly phone payments that the other contract set up. I'm not saying that it's a good protocol or that it's not frustrating, but that is the way we have to operate. 4. As this wonderful lady is no longer with us, and it's wholesome, I will use her real name, Annie. R.I.P. Annie, you were missed. Many people were trying to find out your surname so we could pay our last respects. Annie was a regular at my first job, well, at the whole town centre, to be honest. She'd come in and smile and joke with us all, even when her daughter was a bitch and would cancel a much-awaited month's planned visit. She'd smile and say at least they're happy, as she returned the treats she'd scrimped and saved for. If we could, we'd give her a discount on those shops. She wouldn't let us on her normal, though. Well, I left my first job but popped in to see my former co-workers from time to time. One of these was after work, as my mum had forgotten some bits and rang me at work to get them. So I go in, and as I'd missed the bus, my co-workers say if I wait for them, we'll share a taxi like the old days. Yep, dripping with wholesomeness. Anyway, they go off to work, and I do my shop. When in walks Annie. Now, Annie needed help getting her shop. I was a cashier, so rarely did, but had planned to my last shift. Unfortunately, she didn't make it in. So I go up to her, she asks about work, and I tell her it's good, it's better hours, more responsibility, but it's all good. I ask if I can help her with her shop, and even said I had to get some bits for my mum. Which led to still at home. How are your parents? I'd worked there 4 years and she liked to talk. Asked if I was still going steady, which led to talk of the holiday me and my boyfriend back then were taking. She was hoping to see her grandkids in December for Christmas. It had been 18 months since she'd seen them. But that's what happens when you leave home. No, your daughter should have been called Karen. There's a Reddit for her. But it was all friendly. Having gotten her thing, she insisted I go first. I told the cashier I'd help Annie if she'd let me, instead of one of the boys who we joked were her boyfriends that I looked after and kept out of trouble. So after packing my bags and paying, I packed hers and placed them in the trolley, saying I'd be back for mine. When she left this shop, she always went for a tea in McD afterwards. So we'd leave her there, and staff there helped her into a taxi outside at the rank. So we get there, and she thanks me, saying she's missed me and thought I'd left. I did, about 3 weeks ago, remember? I assumed old age. Annie looked so embarrassed. Really? I thought so, but then you came to help me. I thought I must be confused. It happens, you know, to people my age. Oh dear, you left your shopping. It's fine, I'm getting a taxi with your boyfriends. They'll look after it. They bloody better or I'll finish with them. Thank you for helping me, you didn't have to. It was a pleasure, Annie. I wanted to before I left, at least now I don't have to rush off. So we passed a few more minutes just catching up and being quizzed about where I did work now. Turns out she'd found out I was leaving and, like the rest of the staff, thought my last shift was Saturday, not Thursday. No way I was getting rotten egged when I had an hour to get home changed and out. Beautiful girlfriend had football or something to watch. I didn't work there anymore, but I was grateful I got to serve Annie once more. I saw Annie at my new work after that a few times. If it was quiet, we caught up. If not, just a quick wave. I'm also pretty sure her grandkids came to visit. I know they got their presents and loved them. My new job meant I found her lots of deals and my discount off cool gadgets and stuff. The time spent hunting in the stockroom for her and checking deliveries for the big must-have kids toy, bloody Furbies, was worth it just to hear her describe her grandchildren's faces. The way she lit up. The way only toting grandmas do. Anyway, I hope some of you like it. 5. Amazing start to my shift. I get to my register, open it up, and the first customer comes rolling in. I notice this customer had 5 boxes of Betty Crocker favorites and a lot of cheese. I go on autopilot and begin scanning, when she clears her throat.
These brownie mixes are supposed to be 50 cents each. Your register is saying $2.49. Where's the discount you displayed on your door?
I'm sorry? Completely brand new on the register and had no freaking clue what she was talking about.
Did you not see your own sign?
1 second, ma'am. I began looking around frantically for someone to help me. I had no idea what was going on, what discount she was talking about, or what to do in this situation. When the bagger clocked in and saw my frantic look, he rushed over. Is something wrong? Apparently there's a discount on the Betty Crocker mixes. The register isn't showing that discount. The bagger turns to face the customer, who is looking like it's the end of the world. Do you have a rewards card?
No, and I don't want one, I just want my discount. You have it on a sign out front.
Well, that may be bad printing on our part. If you look closer at the sign, it says only with reward card. My god, if this woman could have gotten any redder, she would have been classified as a tomato and joined the cheeses on her belt.
That's unacceptable. You shouldn't print false advertisements.
I again give a look that says, please help me, because I was drawing complete blanks on how to help this woman, and she was starting to scare me a bit. Do you want me to void the scans?
No, I want my brownie mix at the price you advertised.
Ma'am, as Bagger said, you will not receive the discount without a card. I'm so sorry for the inconvenience.
You're not sorry. I want to speak to your manager.
Had no clue how to page a manager, and my name tag had a tag under it that said I was new. So Bagger went to get a manager. I'll just set these aside and scan the rest of your items until he gets back. I grab a pack of cheese, scanned it.
Where's the discount for the cheese?
I can only assume it's tied with the card, ma'am. Just in freaking time, Bagger and manager came back just as she was about to say something else.
Is there a problem?
You're damn right there's a problem. Your cashier here is saying I can't get the 50-cent discount on my brownie mix, and is now trying to cheat me out of the discount on my cheese.
Do you have a rewards card? The discount applies at the end of the transaction if you do.
No, and I don't want one.
Then I'm sorry, ma'am, you will not get the discount without a card. It's completely free to sign up and can be used immediately. Enraged Aaron has a bunch of them here for any customer who wants a card.
I don't want a card. Clean out your ears.
My manager clearly did not like that. With a calm inhale, he signaled for me to step aside and cancelled her entire transaction.
I'm going to have to ask you to leave. You're holding up the line and starting to become a disturbance to the other customers.
I'm not leaving.
Yes, you are.
He went to grab the customer's arm to escort her out of the building, and turned to look at me before walking away.
Sorry about that, Enraged Aaron. Please ring up the other customers while Bagger puts these items into a return buggy.
While Bagger grabbed the items I had sent to the far end, I looked at the customer that was behind the raging lady. There was a sympathetic grin you could almost tell was a grimace. Wow, you really got thrown to the wolves, didn't you? Tell me about it. Anyways, I'm so sorry for the delay. How's your day so far? The rest of my shift went by without incident, but holy crap, I almost burst out laughing thinking about it when I got home. Just the ridiculousness of this middle-aged woman pitching a fit over cheese and brownies. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Adventures in Fast Food and Retail, number 61. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Currently, as I'm recording these videos, I'm also trying to source some stand-up DVDs. Buying them second-hand, obviously, because, well, it's DVDs. As long as they work, they don't need to be new. So I'm going to order a bunch of Eddie Izzard ones, I think. And annoyingly, I can't find any of Sarah Pascoe's. I know she's done stand-up, but because I've seen it look on the BBC and the like. But unfortunately, the Lads concert doesn't seem to be available to buy yet, which is unfortunate, but oh well. Okay, and with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.